Hey, what's up everybody? Got a gun replica to show you guys that I picked up at my swap meet today, and you Star Wars fans out there will definitely know what I plan to do with this thing. And I got it for cheap compared to the ones I've seen online, man. They're kind of pricey. I think this one is the Denix brand. Doesn't have a brand name on it, but it looks just like the Denix, so I'm going to just say it's the Denix probably. Anyways, found myself a German C96 or M96 Mauser or broom handle, which is the nickname for it. And it does cock and fire. It has it to where you can pull that back to cock it, which that would be the blowback. It was a semi-automatic gun. And that's all it does, man. Is you can cock it and pull the trigger. It will not fire a bullet or any other kind of projectile, as it's not rifled all the way through the barrel. I'm figuring they just drill it in at the end of it here just enough to get that little orange plug in there, so when your child is aiming it at the police officer, that's if they can even see the frickin' plug in there, as it's a little plug. That's supposed to mean so they won't shoot your kid. Which around here, boom, boom, boom. Damn. I'm in Arizona, need I say more? They ignorant out here. But, yeah, that's the only safety feature on it, man, for child protection. Otherwise, I think they only drill back just enough to get that in there, because if you pull back on this piece to cock it and look inside there, there's no hole. So, no possible way of turning this into a real firing weapon. Pretty damn nice reproduction. And, for all you Star Wars fans, the blaster for Han Solo that I'm probably going to go with is the one from A New Hope, which just has a regular type scope that you can still find easy enough, as I'm surrounded by rednecks once again, so plenty of scopes at the swap meet. I should be able to find the right size and type to mount on the side of this and then start tricking it out. Because the other one, to where it's got that weird looking type scope on the side, that is piece from World War II, to where you'd have to find it at an Army surplus store, and I just looked it up on eBay. Can't remember what it is, but it's a military telescope, like a spotting scope that would be on a tripod or whatever, or have it to where you can mount it wherever. It was starting at a price of $109, man, which, nah. I don't know if you can find just new made ones or not. Or it could be the reason the price was starting high is because they said right there the type of scope it is, and then Han Solo blaster, which they already knew that the Star Wars fans were going to be looking for it, so jack the price up. They still got to screw over us nerds. Otherwise, the first two variations, man, easy enough. And some of the parts are also from, I think it was a Tester's brand, V8 engine model, and some of the fancier parts up front here are the two halves of the cylinder, just chromed out or painted black depending on how you want to do it, and then some of the other washer type flat pieces, same thing, out of that parts kit. And I have no idea how much that costs. Cost wise, the only thing I found out was somebody was saying the suppressor, to where you probably cut the barrel here about in half, and then you slide the suppressor on and use some JB Weld or whatever. But they were saying that cost about $30, or they just got lucky, which that part's got to be handmade. unless, and I'm looking, unless you can find a Star Wars site dedicated to making your own props to where you can get the parts pre-made. That's what I'm trying to find. So I don't have access to somebody with a lathe for metal, nor do I even have any of the tools myself or a place to do it, so I'd rather try and find somebody that's already got the parts pre-made and just buy them outright and just put them on the gun. So, I don't know how good this thing's made, man. It doesn't feel like thin, cheap pot metal. It's a real nice heavy cast. It definitely feels like you got a real gun in your hand. It's nice and chunky and heavy. And on the trigger mechanism, obviously it's pretty simplified here for cocking and firing it. And then this piece, which that's just slides back on a spring. But can't really show you guys here because it's just going to show black. But if you cock it and look inside there, where if it was a real gun, that's where the shells would fly out of. This whole piece here is hollow. So anything that you put on this to where you'd have to drill holes into the side of it, you're not going to hit anything vital. And then I noticed that there's some pieces that you put right above the trigger, same thing. I guess there's nothing there high enough above the trigger to where it would be a vital thing. It's kind of like look inside of it, take it apart, look inside and see how much room you got to play around. But it looked like plenty for adding on all the decorative parts. In fact, I gotta find his damn video. I think I saved it. It was freaking badass. And I don't know why I'm the only person that commented on this video, because he did an awesome fucking job. Can't remember which variation of the gun he made, but not only did he basically make a nice looking replica of Han's gun, also added electronics to it. It looked like he had the electronics in a little metal like basket that fit right inside this part here, and then just wires going wherever, and had it to where, I guess right here, it looked like there was a button that he can push to change different sound effects to where you'd pull the trigger here and it sounded like you were firing the gun, all the way up to, he must have totally drilled out the barrel here because he had wires going up to the suppressor with the lead in there, so it would either light up red or blue depending on what mode it was on. Really friggin' cool. If you guys can find the video, man, you'll see what I mean. It's really cool. There's another guy that's added a freaking high-powered laser to it, and then it's got an adjustment or whatever, and I think that's one that he made. I don't think it's one that was store-bought, but really cool. And it does have the adjustable sight here where it's just got a slider which gradually raises it up. But so far on all the modifications that I've seen for the blaster, they've gotten that and just welded it in place like it is here now with JB Weld, so it won't move, because I guess once you put the scope on and the bracket and stuff, that becomes worthless. And not only is the metal nice and thick and heavy on this, I took off one of the grips. Nice thick plastic. And I don't know where the hell this thing is made, but take off the grips, it looks almost like Bakelite, but it's not. It's the way they colored it to make it look like wood. One of the sites that I found this on, I don't get their damn prices, just on the fact that they're so freaking high, and there's a difference between the two guns because it looks like the same damn gun, and all they did was take off these grips and put on some that are lighter colored plastic that looks like wood that wasn't stained. Big difference on the price. One like this was like 80, 90 bucks, and then the one with the different grips, which they were saying this is the upgraded version, yeah right, over $100 friggin' dollars, which means you're going to be spending over $100 on the prop and then whatever money you put into it. So me being the cheap ass I am, I'm going to take the cheapest route possible, and like I say, try and find a site where everything's pre-made. or might run into somebody around here where I can't get the part made. I'm close to the college here, and I think they got a metal shop where I might be able to have somebody make me the suppressor if I can get the specs for it. And another thing, I'm guessing this little piece here, and I'll pull it out. Just sticks in this part that's the blowback. I'm thinking that's for keeping the spring straight from getting all kinked up. But all the ones that I've seen that are already modded either have that out of there and they've just plugged up the hole, or they've jammed that in there so it's really tight, like, or glued it in place with JB Weld, and then sanded that down to where it's flush. Which right now it hits that on the hammer. If you take this out and fire it, as you can see, the hammer doesn't hit that piece. There's enough of a gap in between to where if you do decide to repaint it, if you get one that's painted really crappy and you want to sand it down and redo it, you don't have to worry about the hammer, at least on this model, hitting the paint to where to chip it up or whatever. Which this one, there's enough of the paint worn off and stuff here and there, and it's not a bad paint job. I'm going to keep it as is and just add the parts to it. It already looks nice and aged. So, that's my pickup. Pretty cool day at the swap meet for a change. Guy had some other prop guns too, man, but they were for like Civil War. I don't know where he got his prop stuff or just his reproductions, but they were pretty nice. One of them was set up to where it was basically like a BB gun, but he wanted a few hundred for it, which I can understand. It was nice. It had brass parts on it and stuff, just really fancy. I've never seen one of the Civil War type prop rifles or anything where it's an actual BB gun. And I didn't ask if it was CO2 or anything. I think it was just spring loaded, like one of the Daisy Red Ryder guns, but cool enough. And on other stuff, man, just, God, I'm giving up on yard sales for a while. I just feel like all I'm doing is wasting gas in my car. Every time I watch some of you guys in the big cities or whatever, or just a big town or whatever, hitting the yard sales and swap meet and finding all the game stuff, or just finding anybody that's got a booth dedicated to games, reseller or not, man, I am envious of you guys, because I'm definitely a game hunter when it comes to this town. All the stuff I find, man, it's just pure friggin' luck. Most of the people around here, maybe it's because I'm in Arizona, maybe it's the mass amounts of country music and beer guzzling or something that they do. I mentioned, do you guys have any old school video games, Atari? What are you talking about? What is that? Like, oh God, I said something on technology, man. I fried the freaking gerbil. It's my favorite saying around here, wheels spinning, but the gerbil's fucking dead. That's basically it. But can't all be bad. And the guy wasn't a redneck, man. He was just cool. So, guess I caught him at the right time. He wanted lunch, so that's basically what he wanted the money for, was to get lunch. Catch y'all later.